Hey church, so great to be with you. Man, I hope you had a fantastic Easter with your families this past weekend and had some good time just celebrating the resurrection of our Lord and hopefully enjoying your family as well. On Saturday this last weekend, my boys and I were hitting some golf balls in the backyard. I was teaching them how to execute a flop shot, and I'm trying to explain it and telling them, man, you got to open the club face, open your stance, swing through, use the bounce of the club. And they're just not getting it, probably because they're 8 and 6. I'm not totally sure why. And eventually I gave up on the explaining and just tried to be an example for them. So I showed them how to do it. Now I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. This is what God has done with us, not with the flop shot and with golf balls, but with life. He doesn't just tell us and explain how we ought to live our life. He actually provides an example for us in the person of his Son, Jesus Christ. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 says this, "Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children." Imitate him, be like him, do what Christ does. Or 1 Peter 2, verse 21 says this, "For to this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, so you might follow in his steps." He is the example. Christ is the example for how we ought to live. A few weeks back, we passed out some of these "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets. To help us try to live like Jesus. If he is the example, then we want to model our lives off of his. We have more of these left over, by the way, for this weekend if you weren't able to get one a few weeks back. But for us to know what Jesus would do, we need to look back on what Jesus did. This shouldn't be a mystery for us. In order to know what Jesus would do, we need to know who Jesus is and what he did. So this upcoming weekend, Thursday, 6:45 p.m., and Sunday morning, 9 o'clock and 10:45, that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the example of Christ when it comes to how we should love those around us. How do I humbly serve those in my community? How do I be a servant in my workplace? How do I serve those in my home? Hope to see you there.